NCBM 0314. This video will cover section 1.1, Order of Operations. So in this section, order of operations plays an important role throughout the course. And so whenever you're solving problems, we want to follow these order of operations. So the first thing you want to do is, if you see parentheses, you want to do that operation first. Then you want to go with exponents, multiplication, or division. If you see both, then you do all the multiplication and division, whatever comes first from left to right. And the same for addition, subtraction. You want to do whatever comes first from left to right. So let's look at some examples. We have 8 plus 10 in parentheses minus 4 times 3. So first, if we follow our order of operations, we would do the parentheses. So 8 plus 10 is 18 minus 4 times 3. Second, we would do our multiplication. So in this case, we would multiply 4 times 3, and that's going to give us a 12. And then we can do the subtraction. 18 times 12 would be equal to 6. So 6 would be your answer. Let's look at letter B. So we have 10 divided by 5 times 6 minus 7 plus 10. So first we're going to do the division since it comes first before the multiplication. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. And let me just write this out. Then we want to do the multiplication. So 2 times 6 is 12. And going from left to right, we'll do the subtraction. 12 minus 7 is 5 plus 10. So 5 plus 10 will be 15. Okay, let's look at letter C. 3 squared plus 5 in parentheses times 2. So first we're going to do what's in parentheses. So 3 squared would be a 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. And 14 times 2 is 28. Okay, let's try a few more examples. So this time the instructions are to evaluate, and so we will follow the same order of operations. So here we have 16 times 4 minus 2 cubed plus 15 divided by 5. So first I'm going to take care of the parentheses. So we have 16 times 4 minus 2 cubed plus 15 divided by 5 is 3. Then we want to take care of any exponents. 16 times 4, 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2, which is going to give us 8 plus 3. Then we're going to take care of any multiplication. 16 times 4 is 64. And 64 minus 8 plus 3. So first we want to do the 64 minus 8. And that's going to give us 56. And then we add the 3. So we get 59 as our final answer. Let's go to letter B. So here we have a lot of parentheses and brackets. Brackets work the same way as parentheses. So let's work with the brackets here and the parentheses. So 10 plus 2 is 12. And let's work this side out as well. So 6 times 3 is 18. And 4 squared is 16. 12 times 3 is 36. And 18 plus 16 is 34. So 2 times 36, 72, minus 34. And so we get 38. And this would be our final answer. So let's go ahead and do letter C. Okay, so let's work with the numerator first. So we have 2 times 3 minus 7. So 3 minus 7 will give us a negative 4. And 4 times 8 is 32. In the denominator, we have 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. Plus negative 3 times negative 2 is a positive 6. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6. So we have negative 8 plus 32. Going to give us 24. Divided by negative 6, which equals negative 4. Let's go to letter D. So here we have 12 plus 9 times 7 minus 2. So we'll do the parentheses first. 7 minus 2 is 5. And then 4 squared is 16. So 9 times 5 is 45. And here we want to do the division first. So 16 minus 48 divided by 3. And so that's going to give us, so 48 divided by 3 will give us a 16. And 12 plus 45 is 57 divided by 0. Okay, so here we cannot divide by 0. So we say that our answer is undefined. The next one. So we have 1/3 plus 1/4 times 3/5 plus 7/3. So we have 1/3 plus 1/4. In order to add fractions, we need a common denominator. So our common denominator here is going to be 5 times 3. So I'm going to write 15. So in order to make this 5 a 15, I would have to multiply by 3 on the numerator and denominator. So 3 times 3 is 9. And here I would have to multiply by 5 on the numerator and denominator. So we get 35. Since they have the same denominators, we can add them. So 35 plus 9 is going to be 44. Okay, so now we can multiply. To multiply, we just multiply across. So 1/3 plus 1 times 44 is 44. 4 times 15 is 60. And again, we need a common denominator. You can simplify if you prefer to simplify. You can simplify by the fraction 44 divided by 60. If we divide by 4 on each one, then this would become 11 over 15. Okay, so now we need to find a common denominator here. So our common denominator is going to be 15. So I'm going to write 15 for both. And so this 3, I would have to multiply by 5. So this would be 5/15. And this one's already 15. So now I can add my fraction. So I get 16 over 15. Okay, so let's go to letter F. So here we have 5/6 squared. That's the same as saying 5/6 times 5/6. And then over here, we're going to need a common denominator. So we can use 12 as our common denominator. Notice this already has a 12, so I can just write the 5. This 3, in order to make it a 12, I have to multiply by 4. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then let's go ahead and multiply here. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 6 is 36. Divided by 8 plus 5 is 13. And so now we can divide. So to divide, We can change the division to multiplication and get the reciprocal. Okay, and then we can make this, we can simplify the 12 and 36. So if I divide by 12, divided by 12 is 1, and 36 divided by 12 is 3. And so that allows us to have smaller numbers here. 25 times 1 is 25. 3 times 13 is 39. Okay, so that would be our final answer for that one. So let's go to letter G. So here we have 6 squared is 36 minus 3. The square root of 25 comes out as a 5. And then here we have square root of 6 squared, which is 36, plus 13. So we get 36. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. And then the square root of 36 plus 13 is 49. So 36 minus 15, we want to subtract that. And we get 21. And the square root of 49 is 7. 21 divided by 7 is 3. Let's go to letter H. So here we have negative 5 plus 5 squared is 25. Minus 4 times 1 is 4, times 6 is 24. 2 times 1 is 2. 25 minus 24 is 1. And the square root of 1 is 1. Negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4, divided by 2 gives us a negative 2. And let's go to I. So here we're going to have, let's do negative times negative is positive 4. Negative 4 squared is 16. And then here we have a negative 4 times a negative 1 is positive 4, times negative 3 is negative 12. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. 16 minus 12 is 4. And the square root of 4 is 2. So 4 minus 2 is 2, divided by negative 2 gives us a negative 1. Okay, let's go with the next one here. Negative negative is positive 28. Then we want to do a negative 28 squared, which is the same as negative 28 times negative 28. So that's going to give us a positive 784. And then we have negative 4 times 4 and times 49. And that's going to give us a negative 784 divided by 8. 784 minus 784 is 0, divided by 8. Square root of 0 is 0. So 28 divided by 8. It doesn't divide evenly, so we can reduce. So we divide by 4. 28 divided by 4 is equal to 7. And 8 divided by 4 is equal to 2. Expressions and equations. So a variable is a letter or symbol representing an unknown quantity. An expression is a collection of numbers, variables, and operations and grouping symbols. An equation is a number sentence that states the expression on either side of the equal sign. And so if we look at the first ones, identify the problems below as an expression or as an equation. So basically an equation has an equal sign between two expressions. So if we look at this problem, there's no equal sign. So this is going to be an expression. And this one here, there's no equal sign. So we say it's an expression as well. And here we have an equal sign. So this is going to be an equation. And so now we want to simplify these. So when we simplify, we want to combine like terms. So here's your x and here's an x. and here's an x, so we're going to add all those together, and then we're going to add the constants together. So negative 7x plus a 9x would give me a 2x, minus a 5x would give me a negative 3x. And negative 10 plus negative 4 gives me a negative 14. Let's look at letter B. So I'm going to add all the t's together, and then I'm going to add all the numbers together, the constants. So we have 8t plus 13t is 21t, plus a 7t is 28t, minus a t gives me 27t. And then negative 6 plus a 2 is going to be a negative 4. Okay, so let's go to example 5. What is the value of the expression 6x squared minus xy plus y squared when x is equal to 5 and y is equal to negative 1? So here we want to substitute our x equals 5 into all the x's and our y equals negative 1 into all the y's. So we have 6 times x squared. Instead of x, we're going to write 5. So we get 5 squared minus 5 times y is negative 1 plus a y squared. Instead of y, we write negative 1 squared. So we simplify using order of operations. 5 squared is the same as 25. Negative 5 times negative 1 is a positive 5. And negative 1 squared is a positive 1. 6 times 25 is 150. And 150 plus 5 plus 1 is 156. Example 6, A is equal to 1/2 B plus C times D. If A is 120, B is 13, D is 8, then what is C? So we substitute the information that we know. So A is 120, so instead of A here, I'm going to write 120. And B is 13. And C we don't know, so I'm just going to call it a C. And D is equal to 8. So we want to simplify. Okay, so first I'm going to multiply 1/2 times 8. So that's going to give me 120. 8 times 1/2 is 4. And then what I can do is I can divide by 4 on both sides. And so my 4s will become a 1. And 120 divided by 4 is 30. I'm going to subtract 13 on both sides. So C is equal to 30 minus 13 is 17. Okay, and the last part is the master it. So for this part, you get to work it out. Your instructor might have assigned it as an assignment, or you can do these for extra practice.